For the second year in a row, Christopher Bell has won his way into the championship for this year, though, at Miami. On this week's episode of NASCAR Inside the Race, Todd and I are going to break down exactly how Bell got to victory lane on an up and down day. And a down day for some of the playoff drivers. Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Larson all have issues. And then we're going to go inside the numbers. 6 remain for 2 spots in the championship 4 as the playoff 8 head to Martinsville.
Christopher Bell is going to lock himself into the championship 4. He's won in Miami.
I've got the best team behind me. They gave me what I needed. This is better than a dream come true.
Second year, same result. Christopher Bell wins his way into the championship 4. A little less pressure this year, though. He didn't wait till the final round, but anything but an easy day.
Yeah, definitely. One that I think at the midpoint of the day, they just wondered if they were going to be in a position to be in where they didn't have to have a walk-off win at Martinsville, but turned the day around. Yeah,
they turned the day around, and you could tell that the pressure was on. A lot of radios got snippy. I'm going to talk about the radio of the 20, but here's the day. I mean, we could draw on it, but it's real simple. Average, average, below average, almost a lap down. Next thing you know, goes to the top of the board and all the way to the win, really in 3 separate areas, right? So this is the restart at the end of stage 2. This is a restart later in the race, and then he recovers later with another good restart. But I know you love that end of stage 2.
I do. And you go back to it, they're kind of falling apart, but really, we've got the audio for it. We probably ought to dig back into that because, that's the point at which Adam made the call to him, I really need you to hang on to the lead lap, and Christopher Bell was a little funny about it.
Well, and there's a lot to it, so we're going to listen through.
We got 15 more here. We need to fight hard and try to stay on this lead lap. Okay, I'll start trying.
So, Liz, I'm going to stop there because that's what we heard on broadcast. Listen, we hear this on a lot of radios. I think it's the time of year. Like, it's all on the line. I think everybody's on edge. That's a little bit unlike Christopher. I actually give him an A+ for smart aleck response, though.
As well. I would expect a driver to melt down at that point, and I thought he jovially just kind of put that back on him like, you really think I'm not trying to? I'm doing it. But this is their communication back and forth, and really it leads into the conversation that happens at the caution because that's something we really need to dig into.
That's the key. This is what we didn't hear on broadcast.
Leader took it. Be smart. Becomes a part here. We can let him back. Take care of it. I don't know, Adam. It didn't hang on at all that time. Lost all of my rear grip. Definitely looser on entry, but it's like the mid-corners where I need it. I need it whenever it gets compressed. But that did not hang on at all. That was our worst long run. Yeah. Did it turn, before it got loose, did it turn better entry and through the center or no? I mean, it's so hard to say because I'm not in traffic like I was on the restart. So it was not a home run by any means. Yeah, we're not hitting home runs today, bud. We're just trying to get a base hit at this point. We've done about everything you can do. We've got to go back on some stuff and try to find some middle ground. 10-4.
All right, so a lot to unpack. We heard hey, I'm going to start trying now, but then a very impressive, detailed description of what he needs, a question to come back, calmly says, I'm not in traffic anymore. There's a good back and forth. And then we've both been there. How many times are you like, we're not trying to hit home runs? I've tried everything. It's not working. What I hear from Adam Stevens there is, look, we were so bad that I was making multiple changes at once. Now I need to start unpacking them maybe one at a time to find something to help this car.
Yeah, obviously, I think a good back and forth between the two of them, not spirited, both working together, just trying to lay out what the expectations are. But this is all happening.
Yeah, right here, right? So this is basically right here at the end of stage 2 before the pit stop, which is, nearly the worst part of the day. If you come across one little spot, this is as low as they get right there.
They finished stage 2, P22.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, they're just trying to come up with a game plan of what they can change when they come to pit road, coming up with a plan for that. Pit crew gets them a couple. The choose decision gets them in a position. He restarts this thing outside row 8.
And I want to take a minute because a lot of fans, broadcasters, drivers, all of us talk about how you can't make something of the day. You got to get a little bit lucky. It's hard to pass. Track position, magical track position is so hard to get. Miami, there is no strategy. 4 tires every time. So you said 22nd, through the pit cycle, through the tools. He's now outside row 8. And this right here, this is as hard work as it comes right here. This is just restarting in car. We turn the volume down so we could talk about it. There's not a magical wand here. This is just piece by piece, spot by spot.
Yeah, you look at it here, and it's going to play through a couple laps here to get there, but he continues to work his way forward and find his way past cars, put himself in position. I like the ability that this car can drive to any lane he wants to take it to and continue to roll forward.
So we heard that their issue is really the long run. Remember in the radio he said that was our worst long run. What I like is they didn't kill the short run trying to fix the long run. I've done that many times in my career, trying to make a car hold on better. You also take away your strength.
Especially knowing that this race typically at Miami, the end of this race ends up being a stack of short runs. And that played in his favor as well, but they got themselves to the point driving forward here where they could take advantage of that short run speed on the late cautions.
So what's that all mean? This is this. He drives right up, finally plateaus in about the 10th position. Why does that matter? Well, then the record around the world, the 5 and the 12 get together coming to pit road in the middle of the cycle. There's a caution, a red flag, resets. Now here, I'm going to actually take us out of the in-car. So let's take this location. Here's your 20. So remember, he started 16th.
Outside of row 3.
Yeah, drove up to 10th. I want to point this out because we're going to pick on the pit crew here in a minute. +2 on this pit stop. Everything going right. Everything gaining positions. I'm going to hit play right here. You want to talk about fire-off speed? Christopher Bell had it, and he has it right away.
And nobody's willing to make the move to the top. It just doesn't seem like it works out, but watch the run that he makes through this corner. He's 3 wide, goes to the top, just rolls speed. The point, the car lets him roll speed any place he needs to go on it. A tremendous run he gets down the backstretch here.
Yeah, and he's going to turn to the inside of the 12. I think he has the 12 for sure, no problem, maybe even the 11, but right now, boom, a wreck behind him, caution comes out. So now we restart it. Let's do it again. Once again, let's go to the outside. Now he's up a row. Now he's outside row 2. And not the race winning pass because there's a caution and some issues later. But, I mean, another restart, same exact look. Really good through the restart zone. Heads down into turn 1, and he isn't afraid to go up the racetrack. Not a lot, but he's up a full lane and a half to get momentum.
Very similar to the restart before with the momentum coming off, and he knows these two are going to keep side drafting each other, pulling each other back. The momentum he's got, great decision here.
Yeah, it goes to the bottom, and what I love is right here. He doesn't overdrive the corner. So easy to overdrive it. I think it's even more impressive from the in-car. Let's ride along. So, and this is, I mean, you're basically on the right side, but this is Christopher's view. He's up the track. He knows there's no one to his left. The spotter's telling him he's clear low. He gasses up. He goes for the crossover. And where this goes bad, or could go bad, is into 3, overdriving it right here. Watch this.
He actually lifts and gets back. I actually felt like the 11 overdrove this corner a little bit and cost momentum for the 11 and 12. Christopher Bell clear of both those guys and on his merry way.
Yeah, so then the only other trouble he had, if we go back to our graph, we look way out here. It's not as simple as you would like it to be because you see a pit stop where they lose the lead this time, right? So
yeah, where we were talking about right there, that pass was this area here.
Yep.
That got him the lead. Came to pit road, lost a couple spots.
Lost a couple spots, had a good restart, and in the end, this is basically what it looks like. He's running down William Byron. He's a little patient. He knows Byron had a good short run car, not a very good long run car,
right.
Probably one of the worst long run cars inside the top 10. So he knows the 24 is backing up. But what I really want to point out why this matters is right there. This guy is coming. That guy back there has the best long run car of the day. Ryan Blaney, every single long run, even Kyle Larson, he ran down at the end of stage 2. So Bell knows that he's better than Byron, but he can't ride back here. He has to clear Byron because he knows Blaney's coming. He does it and then just does a nice job. And listen, congratulations to Christopher Bell. But how about when he got out? The greatest team in the world, right?
Yeah.
Between the snippiness on the radio, good pit stops and bad, good adjustments and bad, Adam Stevens, Christopher Bell worked together to go to victory lane.
And I really like the fact it may have been a little bit snippy there at one point, but it comes right back to focus. It's not like it's just making points. It's not mad at each other. It's just being very succinct. We heard him talk about the baseball references there, right? Not looking to hit a home run. We're just looking to hit base hits. Sometimes base hits have good contact and end up going over the fence. That's what happened for him here today.
Miami was pretty straightforward. Long runs, green flag pit stops. Matter of fact, pretty straightforward. The two best cars in practice, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson. Looked like they were going to duel for the race win until the wreck heard round the world, the sand and the barrier all coming to pit road. What do you make of all this, Todd?
I think, there's a lot of different pieces here. Kyle Larson's being aggressive because he's got nothing to lose. Blaney's being a little conservative. He's had late pit road penalties at Texas that caused issues. And I think they just misjudged each other. I think Larson misjudged how Blaney was coming to pit road, and it put him in an awkward position.
So I went back and looked, and we're going to continue to look at this, but I want to jump right into the data because we're going to go back to the video. What I did here is this was the third green flag cycle. So when we talk about cycle, you see cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, that's a green flag loop. We don't use lap numbers because they pit at different laps on the cycle. This is start-finish line around to the pit-in line. So this is a good reference of how good someone gets to pit road. If you look right here, it doesn't surprise me that they continue to get faster. Kyle Larson's first pit stop, 34-ish seconds. Blaney a little slower, 34.5, both acceptable. This is what I want to point out. The second time Larson came to pit road, he did it in 33.3 seconds, which matches this time. This ends up in the sand barrier. This ends up in the barrel. So, and I say that because, look, who made the mistake here? Kyle Larson. Zero doubt in my mind, this is a Kyle Larson mistake. But the mistake, in my mind, wasn't, am I coming to pit road too hard to even make pit road? It looks like he wasn't going to make pit road. He proved the time before that speed works. What he did is didn't account for the 12. I really think he doesn't think he can catch the 12. If we go back and look at this broadcast, I mean, when I hit play, just look how much gap the 5. I don't think he even thinks the 12 has a chance of being there when he gets to the line.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But he's just, as he's coming to this point, he's got so much commitment. There's no margin left. We've talked about this. If you're getting all you can coming to pit road, you don't have room to give back. And he ended up closing this up pretty tight. I don't know. I think he may end up overslowing that first stage to get himself under so he doesn't get a speeding penalty. But this isn't going to be a crossing the line at 49.9 miles an hour and maintaining that pit road. But I won't say that he wouldn't make it, but it just didn't anticipate the speed of the 12 car coming here.
Well, right here's the problem. Because if he has enough speed to overslow, he can either turn left or literally, in a perfect world, you go right to the 12's bumper. Like in a perfect world, you chase him all the way down and basically in a perfect world right here, you're going the same speed as him.
Right.
And now you're just going to chug along. This is kind of like, you sit at a red light and it turns green and the guy in front of you doesn't go. Well, you just can't step on the gas and hit the guy, right? Even though you're in the right. I mean, the light's green, you can go. Well, that's kind of what got Larson right here, right? He didn't do anything wrong except it doesn't matter.
He didn't account for where the 12 was going to be.
I mean, I
feel like with Ryan here, Ryan got a pit road speeding penalty at Texas last cycle. So I think he's in a situation, he's controlling the race at this point. He's not going to be ultra aggressive coming to pit road. He's going to be a little conservative. He's not going to throw it away on his own count.
So we back it up, slow it down, back it up, slow it down. We make it sound like they had all kinds of time. I just want to watch this in full speed. This is full speed, winning the race. Remember, he knows Ryan Blaney is the race winner. He's racing this like that's the race plan. Look how far out he is. So I love the aggression. I just needed literally 2 or 3% less.
I don't know that Kyle can give you 2 or 3% less.
No.
He's 100% all the time, it seems like.
Now listen, I give him credit because he hit those barrels because he wasn't going to hit Ryan Blaney.
Yep.
And in his interview, he apologized to thinking he even damaged the 12 car. I think that's why people can still cheer for Kyle Larson, because that was a driver trying to win the race, not trying to take it away or ruin somebody else's day. That's pretty solid, A+. But in the end, a mistake, still the same.
But the other piece is they came into here, they've already got their ticket punched. All they've got is the opportunity to go win and keep the pressure on everybody else. There's no risk to their play. It's just reward of trying to go get it. Tried to get a little too much.
Well, and then in the end, the 12 who was on pit road, he does his pit stop. He ends up being the leader. This is later in the run. Another playoff driver who has an issue, the 11 of Denny Hamlin, a mechanical issue. Goes down in the corner, car goes straight. I feel pretty confident it's not a flat tire. The right front looks like it has air in it after the accident. It happens right at the downshift. So I don't know if it's a suspension issue. It looks to me like maybe it's a hydraulic issue with the steering because it kind of locks up. We're going to show you the in-car. That's a bad angle.
You see the wiggle there. And that wiggle happens right where the downshift is. When we go in car, we can show that. And really, as you watch this happen, he turns the wheel coming in the corner. When he reaches down and hits the downshift, you see the steering wheel snap back to the left.
That's why I paused it, because I want to make sure everybody. So here, I want you to understand what we're looking at. I'm going to hit play. That's the upshift, hand off the wheel.
Yep.
Now watch his right hand. When he reaches down to downshift.
Pretty normal. Steering wheel snaps back to the right.
And he's in the wall. So I'm going to back it up. I'm going to play this again. See how good I am with my little machine here. Watch this. I'm going to slow it down. Right? You see, he reaches down and it snaps back. So it's almost the exact same time, which is why I think you and I both thought maybe the downshift is what does something.
I initially thought the downshift got him loose and he made a correction to it from what I saw up at the racetrack. But to go back and watch the in-car here, I don't know if there's something that happens with the power steering at that point or anything else that happens. It's not a driver, or it's some sort of steering situation. That's what Denny called it.
So here's what I want to point, and I'm going to do a little drawing. So this right here is where that orange line is for a reference.
Yep.
Here's why I think this matters. I'm going to move forward. He downshifts. You see the correction.
Yeah,
so his hand's off the wheel. Something has broken. You thought he got loose, and I see why, because he's turned way over to the right. I'm leaving this telestrator here for a reason, because now watch this. The reason I don't think it's a flat tire or a tie rod or something breaking is once that issue, and he gets two hands back on the wheel, he barely turns further.
Right back in the same spot.
If you had a flat tire, this wheel would be turned over here, right? Like, for instance, if I have a flat tire, I'm turning, boom, car goes straight up the hill. That's not what happened to the 11. It'll be interesting to see what Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin, what they figure out the mechanical was.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see where it was, and a day ender for a day that really looked very promising.
I'm not riding with Martin Truex Jr., James Small in a rental car. Zero luck. Now, look, they did a little bit to themselves, slow pit stops, but the pit stops in the end didn't matter. They got caught by that 5-car caution. This is Martin Truex Jr. back in traffic. I thought he was going to be okay. I was kind of wondering why he wasn't moving forward.
Right.
No offense to Coy LaJoy or Ryan Preece or the other cars in the picture, but this Truex car was pretty good.
This is a guy that ran 5th to 8th most of the day, I thought, and had speed. I expected him to drive back in the top 10.
And then the telltale for me, as we're on board, is the exit of this next corner right here, because I think he rolls the top pretty good. I think he's going to have momentum. He's wide on the gas. And look at the 7. The 7 clears him, and even more importantly, continues to drive away. So something was amiss, and then it became clear. Insult to injury. The motor expires on the 19 car. You see the smoke out the pipes. Nothing you got to do. In the end, what does that do? Now he's 17 points out, heading to Martinsville after an eventual engine failure in Miami.
Yeah, both Denny Hamlin and Martin backing up from being a couple to the good to 17 back. A day that they'll have to overcome at a place that they actually run pretty well.
All right, we're here. I know everybody talks about Phoenix, and I can't wait to get there and crown a champion. But this might be my favorite race of the year. Martinsville's my favorite track. I didn't think it could be better. And then the sport decided, it's going to be better because we're going to put everyone's season on the line, or almost everyone's. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell with the big win. They're both advanced. William Byron plus 30, Blaney plus 10. On the flip, Reddick minus 10, Truex, Hamlin both at 17, Buescher at 43. Start with the easy one. Buescher must win.
Got to win. Mathematically, maybe you could put the scenario together. He's got to win.
All right, let's go back to the spring, and let's talk about the two drivers above Buescher. Hamlin 4th in the spring, Truex 3rd in the spring. They've both won there. Hamlin has a storied career there. Handicap it. What's your gut feeling about the two Joe Gibbs Toyotas?
I think they'll both be contenders for the win. I do, and I.
Do you think it takes a win? Do you think that's okay? Chris Gabehart. If you're Chris Gabehart,
I do.
Are you counting points, or are you telling everyone we either win or we're out?
I think you got to win.
I agree.
I think you got to win, because I don't think the piece is I think somebody in this group of 8 wins this race.
Reddick, I hate to say it this way, but is it fair to say I would be surprised if he's the winner? Tyler Reddick's super talented, but doesn't strike me.
I see the mile and a halves as being his strength, and the road courses, obviously.
Yep.
Those are places that I really look at that 45 being strong. I don't know that I see Tyler Reddick being a Martinsville guy. Now the other one, I feel like I've given away 2 clocks with this kid. We gave it up on pit road twice, came back to second from recovering from pit road penalties. Blaney's pretty strong at this place. I wouldn't put it past him to be in contention and pull out a win.
I think this all starts on Saturday.
I agree.
If you don't qualify inside the top 6 or 8, you know, if we'll just give some hypotheticals. Hamlin, Truex, Reddick, say they qualify in the top 5, and Blaney has an issue and qualifies outside the top 20. I think that flips Blaney instantly to a little bit of panic and know they have to probably win the race because, you know, the guys in the top 5, it's only 130 laps. That first stage is going to be over.
Yep. And then pit selection, where you end up buried on pit road, can affect how things happen. Passing cars here is going to be it's a challenge. It's great short track racing. Be one to watch and see how it all plays out.
I love this because we're going to look at Martinsville, that it's all about Martinsville, but let's remind everybody it's not even one round, it's an entire season. And the reason I say that is the white are the playoff points you earned through the entire season. Mm-hmm. Congrats to Ryan Blaney and Tyler Reddick. Look, they came in below, right? They have the least amount right here, yet they kind of overcame that with great runs at Miami. This is how they scored enough points. I just don't know if the real question is, can the lack of points at Miami, it shows up, it's glaring. The lack of points at Miami, will that be the race that sets these 3 behind?
It has, and I think it's changed the outcome for the 11 and 19 to the point where I think they have to look at it as a must-win. And I really would limit this list down to 4 cars. I think William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr.
I like that handicapping. I agree with you. The only caveat, the only asterisk I would put is I didn't have Blaney winning the 600. I didn't have Buescher having a career year. What makes sports so good is Buescher, if he could pull this off, like Bell did a year ago, or Reddick can show up at the short track. That is what's going to make this Sunday so special at Martinsville. It's short track racing. It's my favorite racetrack. Tune in on Sunday, NBC, 2 p.m. for the Xfinity 500.